first of all, was there an end to the old covenant? If so, when was that, and when did the new covenant start?
Yeah, well, that's easily answered in Galatians chapter 3, 19 to 29. Paul says, what about the law then? It was added to the existing Abrahamic covenant until the descendant, that's Messiah, came, to whom the promise had been made. And it, the law of Moses, was promulgated by angels at the hand of a mediator who was Moses. Now, there's no mediator when only one party is involved, but God is only one person, as nicely said in the Amplified Version. God is only one person. So is that law of Moses opposed to the promise? No, of course not. But if a law, namely the law of Moses, had been given that could bring life, then righteousness, that's being right with God rather than wrong, would in reality come from the law, if that had been possible. But Scripture can find all things under the power of sin, so that through faith of Messiah Jesus, in Messiah Jesus, both things, faith in the gospel of the kingdom, as preached by Messiah Jesus and all the teachings of the Sermon on the Mount, through that faith, the promise might be given to those who believe. That's us, the believers, international, not just Jews, not just Gentiles, but everybody who believes in the gospel of the kingdom. But before faith came, that's to say, before John the Baptist and Jesus showed up, we were held in custody under the law of Moses, confined with a view to the faith that was going to be revealed in Christ. Consequently, the law of Moses in the letter was a disciplinarian. That's a good word. That's a slave that was employed in Roman families to assist the child on its way to school. A tutor, if you like. The law of Moses, tutor, leading us to Messiah so that we might be put right by faith, i.e. the Christian faith in the gospel of the kingdom. But now that faith, that Christianity has come, it came with John the Baptist who introduced the Messiah. We're no longer under that disciplinarian, the law of Moses in the letter. Through faith in Messiah, the true gospel of the kingdom, you're all children, sons and daughters of God, in union with Messiah Jesus. You can always translate that word Christ by Messiah to keep the Jewish flavor. So that's very clear. The mark point, the point of change is clearly John the Baptist, who was the greatest man who ever lived, Jesus said, and he introduces the new covenant faith in the spirit of the law of Messiah.
So the old covenant, which is represented by the law of Moses,
yes,
the Torah, came to its conclusion,
absolutely,
or fulfillment, let's call it.
Yes.
Jesus said, I didn't come to destroy the law, but fulfill it. So it comes to its fulfillment, according to Paul, in the Christ, in the seed. This is interesting because you just read Luke 16:16, which has sort of the same language. So Paul says until Jesus, Luke says until John.
Yes.
Isn't that interesting?
It is. John is the introducer of Jesus, so that's not a problem. The other one, of course, is also most useful, is the one there which speaks about the laws given by Moses. John 1:17, grace and truth, something new. We move into a higher key in the law of Messiah, not the law of Moses. So don't get muddled here and try to keep the law of Moses in the letter. That will take you away from Messiah and his law of Christ.
The use of the prepositions is interesting by John, which in the Greek would be dia. So it's through Moses, and now it's through Christ. Isn't that a nice sort of bookend?
Oh, absolutely. Very parallel. Through Moses. The ya means through with the genitive there. But by distinction, a very clear marking point here. The true dispensation, it's dispensationalism, which puts the marking point in the wrong place and pushes Jesus back under the old covenant. Then you've lost him. I started this evening by saying that's the worst error you can possibly commit, is to get rid of the teaching of Jesus by putting him back under Moses and the letter. That is fatally wrong.